Hey there, and welcome back to 20th episode of Heartfelt Hustle. I'm your host, Sosh, and today we are diving into something that every entrepreneur faces, but again, very few talk about it openly. We celebrate all the success, we share our wins, but what happens when things don't go as planned? What about the setbacks? What about the unexpected challenges? What about the moments where you are sitting at your desk thinking, is this even worth it? The truth is, success is not about never failing. It is about learning how to bounce back when you have to, and that's what today's episode is going to be all about: how to handle setbacks with resilience, process failures without losing confidence, and coming out stronger on the other side. If you have ever felt stuck after maybe a launch flopped, or maybe a client ghosted, or strategy did not work the way you hoped it would, then, my friend, welcome, and this episode is for you.
Welcome to Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast that dives deep into the heart and hustle of entrepreneurship, where our dreams meet reality and where our passions fuel our success. I'm your host, Sushmita Jain, a launch strategist and operations director, founder of an outsourcing agency. Most of my clients call me their right hand woman, and most importantly, a curious soul as well as a nerd. I am here to share my experiences. I am here to share my insights. I am here to share practical tips that will help you build a thriving and a sustainable business. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or someone looking to infuse more heart into your hustle, I am here and this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll dive into topics ranging from reconnecting to your passions, your soul, your why, and overcoming the roadblocks of your growth journey. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dig in into this heartfelt hustle together.
Have you ever noticed entrepreneurship is often romanticized? We see the highlight reels on Instagram, we see people talking about their six-figure launches or maybe even seven and eight-figure launches, people having booked out services, clients raving about results. But what about what's missing from that picture? What about the messy middle, or maybe even the late night doubts that creep in, or the setbacks that make you question everything? And if you have been there, I hear you. I get you. I have seen many of you, or many of those who have been here as well. So, as we say, you are not alone in this boat. There are many people right here with you on this boat, but maybe you don't see them. I know that sounds creepy, but you get my point. And research shows that 90% or even 92% of startups fail within the first 3 years, according to the Startup Genome Report. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't? Well, it's not mere luck, and it's not just about the talent. It's actually about resilience. In fact, studies from the American Psychological Association shows that resilience isn't just about toughing it out, it's about adapting, reframing challenges, and strategically shifting your approach when things go wrong. And to be honest, like, because we are talking about this, I also want to share a personal story of mine when, I had faced major setbacks as well. And in my journey, there have been numerous setbacks, but I think the two major ones which have been pivotal in my life and my journey would be The ones where it was not even anything related to me, but it was about the people around me. It affected me, it affected my work, it affected my brand, my positioning. It was other people screwing up what I was working on. And it did make me question everything. It did make me rethink. It did make me work on, strategically shifting what I was doing back then to make things work the way I would like them to do, or adapt what's happening in my life and not let it affect me much, to think through and be where I am today. So, I remember back then feeling frustrated. I remember back then questioning even my abilities, or even wondering if I was even cut out for this. Like, oh my God, this is so difficult. Why the F I am here? Why the F am I doing this? Like, why am I so stupid? But then here I am, and I love what I do. And that's the reason why I did keep pushing. That's the reason why I kept working out and finding ways to make it work. And during and while I was on that journey, what I learned is that people who thrive in business are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who learn how to move forward. And that's exactly what I want you to walk through this today as well. I literally have, like, if I look at it, and if I have to, literally maybe even come up with a framework for this, I have done things step by step. And right now, as I'm actually recording this episode, I'm realizing that, yeah, it's a step by step framework. And I'm going to stop for a second while actually talking about this, write things down, and get back and record this episode further. So, yeah, by the time you listen to this episode, you are going to be listening to broken down step by step things I did to help me build what I am building right now. And yeah, let's work on this together, shall we? Okay, let's break this down, right? Now, I know many of us think that resilience is a personality trait, but what if we said, or what if we start looking at resilience as a skill, and it is something you can develop? And it starts with few key shifts that can help you move from frustration to focus. Like, seriously, if we look at it, setbacks never define us, right? It is rather how we respond to them that does. So, studies in CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, show that reframing negative thoughts reduces stress and increases problem solving ability. Now, I have been studying CBT for quite some time, and it is really fascinating. And when something goes wrong, our first instinct is often to spiral and be like, oh my God, I failed. Or, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Or, oh fuck, this is or this will never work. But what if, instead of seeing failure as a fucking end, we saw it as data? Now, I know, and if you are not listening to me for the first time ever, you know as well how much I love data. And anything and everything that's happening in our life, if we look at it in the right way, is data. It is going to tell us what worked, it is going to tell us what did not work, and it is also going to lead us to what lesson is actually there. So one of my favorite mindset shift is for us to start moving from why is it happening to me to what is this teaching me. This small shift changes how you process everything in life, whether it's your setbacks, whether it's a trigger in your life, or literally anything. And it's going to help you turn these events in your life into learning experiences instead of them being your roadblocks, or instead of them being situations which are going to frustrate you and then take a lot of time and energy of yours. So try this out. Reframing is going to help you a lot, right? Now, next thing I want you to start working on and test out is something which I feel is looked at in a wrong way. Like, I am someone who is exploring my spirituality. I am someone who is, working on and trying to understand these things from my end and see how they work and see how, it's going to help me. It's going to help my clients and things like that. So, when I say, and what I'm going to mention right now is for you to start working on regulating your nervous system. Now, neuroscience studies show that when stress levels are high, the prefrontal cortex of ours, which is, by the way, responsible for decision making, shuts down. Like, can you imagine our literal literally what's responsible in our body for decision making is going to shut down, and it's not going to help us or support us when the stress levels are high. So how are you going to function? And that is literally going to affect the logical thinking capabilities of yours, and it's literally going to make it impossible. So obviously this is not how, like, I know we say a lot of times that we should regulate our nervous system and nervous system matters. Yes, our nervous system matters a lot. And this is not how a lot of people look at it. But I want you to start looking at it this way, because literally, if your nervous system is not going to function, your body is not going to function as well. Like, I remember the time when I was paralyzed in my life and I was on a deathbed. I was in ICU. I was forced to sit on a wheelchair. Definitely not my happy place, but it's a very core memory in my brain. And what why did that happen? Stress. Why did I actually lead myself there? My nervous system was one which was compromised, and that's exactly why I couldn't literally function. You know? So, setbacks trigger stress, and when stress kicks in, your ability to think clearly literally poof, goes out of the window. And we don't want that to happen. So, before you try to fix anything, I want you from now on moving forward to try this out. Literally, if you feel, and the moment you start feeling you're stressed, literally for a second, just stop there, take a step back, like not a literal step back, but you get my point. Breathe deeply, like just go in that deep breathing state. Or if you are not a fan of deep breathing, or maybe if that's not working for some reason, move your body, go for a walk, just do some stretching, or maybe just distract your mind with doing something that you love, or listen to music, some soothing music, some cozy music, and journal things out. Like, literally journal what's on your mind. How do you feel? Why are you feeling that way? Or just, if you're not a fan of journaling, look at it as a brain dump session, and just share your heart out. And then see how you go from what you were feeling to slowly feeling calmer, feeling and having yourself at ease. And then try and make a certain decision maybe you thought you would have made even in the state of stress. Like, I've made some of my worst business decisions in the moment of panic, and it hasn't turned out well. So, being calm comes first, then comes working on the strategy. So, yeah, make sure you have a calm mind, which is something you definitely want to work on. And there's so many ways to regulate your nervous system. I'm sure you're well aware of it, or maybe we could discuss them and talk about them in maybe some other podcast episode. But you get my point right now here, right? Next, I want you to refocus on your strengths because studies show that self efficiency or our belief in our own abilities directly impacts how we overcome challenges as well. Because if you are thinking or if you are feeling that you cannot get something done, well, you're feeling that way. You're not actually going to get that stuff done then. Or when you feel that, oh my God, I have hit a setback now. How am I going to move forward? That's not going to help you. Like, literally, if you're going to just be so dramatic, yeah, it's not gonna work. So it's easy to feel like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. My life is falling apart. How am I supposed to make things work? Well, you can make them work. Just put your big girl or big boy pants on and again, take a deep breath or maybe move your body or listen to some music that you love and journal it out, brainstorm, and even maybe list things out like what have you done well? What wins have you had before? What strengths do you bring to the table? Or what lessons do you have here which are going to help you moving forward? Now, mind you, I am not actually talking about you being blindly optimistic. I am talking about evidence based confidence. If you look at the questions I have listed for you guys here right now, or mentioned in this episode for you right now, you will see it's all about me helping you gather evidence to help you build your confidence back up. After all, you did not get here this far by accident, did you? So, yeah, we're just gathering information. Again, we're just gathering data and we are helping you see and helping you believe in your own abilities to help you build your resilience. Right? Next, how about redesigning a bit? Like I'm not talking about architect based redesigning, but the most successful entrepreneurs are those who iterate, those who test, those who tweak, and those who refine. Well, me being a manifesting generator, I do that all the time and I love doing that. But I think this is something all of us as business owners and entrepreneurs do have something when it comes to this. And this is something that we do work. After all, if we look at all of the work we've been doing all these years, it has never been the same, right? Market changes, our customer behavior changes, how our audience is reacting to content changes, everything, even the entire landscape of the business changes, and we adapt. We test, we tweak, we see what's working, we refine based on that. So it's simple, you know. It's not about fixing, but it's about testing things out and seeing what's working, doubling down on them, and getting things moving forward. So ask yourself next time that what is maybe the smallest tweak I can make that would have the biggest impact, because like small changes literally can create big or even mighty results. Even if once you start making a notice of these things, you will see them happening more and more. So you don't literally have to burn everything down to move forward. You can pick what you have, you can test out small changes, see the results and what's working, what's not working, and then further make next set of iteration, right? And next thing that I want to talk about is motivation, because we wanna reignite our energy from time to time, because motivation is not constant. It's as simple as that. And Harvard Business Review states that momentum is built by celebrating small wins. Yay! So, when was the last time you actually celebrated your small wins? Because, like, if you listen to my last episode, I did mention and talk about this as well. Celebrating our wins is very, 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 very important. And it is something that, if I look at the past version of me, I haven't actually done it much in my life before. But the moment I started celebrating even the smallest things, things have been different. And it's been more fun, it's been more joyful. And yeah, it's just, you know, the process and journey becomes much more cheerful as well. So, yeah, because after all, it's also one more thing that I want to talk about is that resilience isn't about just being in the pushing mode all the time and just, thinking about pushing through. It's about making sure you're having fun, making sure you're not burning out along the way. So celebrate your small wins, connect with people who inspire you, and remember, always remember why you started. Because when you focus on the long term game, when we look at it, a small setback or roadblock is just another part of the journey. It's not the end of it. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. So, if today's episode gave you a mindset shift, I want you to do two things. One, I want you to DM me on Instagram. You will find my Instagram handle in the description below and tell me what's one setback you faced and what did you learn from it. Simple as that. And or if you're brave enough, maybe even share it on your Instagram story and tag me you know. And next, I want you to share this episode with a fellow business buddy of yours who needs to hear this message because I want to normalize these conversations because there are so few people actually talking about this part of the journey. But I think it is something we should definitely be talking and discussing about. And lastly, if you've loved this conversation, make sure you hit subscribe to this episode. Make sure you leave a review and stay tuned for next week's episode because we have so many more things coming up. So until then, bye for now and see you next time.